Because Daddy's fixing your computer.
But but it only has that. But it has only but it has only your character.
Well, you want to set up the avatar to look like you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. And when we play together, we'll look the same. So Daddy will be right here. This is, yeah, isn't this wonderful? Because Daddy's working on your computer, you're going to get it fixed for you. You're going to have games to play.
I'm gonna do everything.
Change to Roblox avatar. Oops, what happened?
It didn't work. Another daddy? Is it a me or a daddy?
No one will ever know.
Someone make me. Can you change into me, please? Change into me. Change into me.
Okay.
Change into me.
Yeah, let me get where I can hear. I think to change the avatar, let's see, we're gonna need.
Never gonna
Um,
hear.
we go here. Okay, so we go to your profile. Dad doesn't really know how to do this either. Okay, avatar. All right, you want to set it up? Do you know how to set it up here? Customize. Okay. So that would change it to.
I'm a block fan.
Okay, well, let's say.
I feel like block. I feel like block. Can you make a different to me?
Yeah, sure. And here we have customize,
Make a different to me, please.
and we're loading up now. Let's see. I don't know what's going on with this. Loading, 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 loading. Now we're trying to figure this Roblox world out. Well, is it going to take all day? That's what I wonder.
Nope, 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 nope.
Characters, head, and body. All right, which head do you want? Okay, choose the one that you like. Well, I want free stuff. Yeah, I can't. I don't have all the stuff that costs. Uh, well, typically she doesn't have hair, so shop for more. Okay, so how about this?
No, don't like it. Don't like
Okay,
it.
okay, okay.
I want something like
So these are the ones you can choose. This one, this one, this one, this one, or this one. They're the free ones.
I want this now because it was a
But it's 250 Roblox. Robux. We don't have it.
But what
There.
if I cry?
Uh,
What if I cry?
it won't do any good. We still won't have it.
What if I cry now?
Well, we'll just end the stream. Let's see. You want to look like you, right? So what I could do is like try to log out and log back in. Let's see. Hair. Switch to hair. You like this hair?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!
There's a,
Oh no! My face.
we'll go to this classic heads. Free.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay.
Oh no! Oh
Okay.
no!
Classic faces. Free, free, free. Let's try the different hair. How about the like that?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll put
Why
that.
is everything changing?
Roblox always changes. Things change in the world. Okay, so clothing. How about this?
Yes, 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 I like it.
You like it? Okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
it's free. Okay. Now let's see. You want to try? Yeah. Let me know if you see something you want. So this is like jacket, and let's see, t-shirts. Let's see if you can see a t-shirt that you like. Let's see what would happen if we. Well,
I don't like all of them.
well, dang. Let's see.
I don't like. See, they don't fit on you.
Yeah. Let's see. Put this on.
I doesn't fit on you. I don't do. I like all of them.
Okay. Let's see. Go to sweaters.
No, 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 no. I'm
Okay.
tired of this now. No, I got to say it now. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't like all of them. I totally don't like all of them.
Okay.
No, I don't like it. No.
Okay. Okay.
I
Well.
don't like all of them.
Okay. We'll go somewhere else and go something else.
I don't like all of these too. I don't like all of these. I don't like all of these.
How about this chicken?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
No.
All right. So we're back where we started. Maybe if you don't like, you want to try to set up the avatar yourself, or maybe you should log out and try to log you back in.
Yay, 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 yay.
And switch to Kudawojo. Okay, so, but if I log out, I don't. Let's see if I can log. We'll try to log back in.
Let's wait for 100 seconds.
Yeah, we're working on it.
I know. Yo, yo, yo. I know this. 100 hours later.
Give me a big hug. Oh, okay, don't fall off the chair. Here we go. Okay. Alright, so, let's see.
Didn't know I saw my pig.
Slow, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm trying to. I am told.
Where I don't even see log out. Where is it? Try my best here.
100 days later.
Yeah. So much for this. Let's see. So,
pig is gone.
is there?
Ta-da! My pig is
Uh,
gone.
what was the animal game you were playing?
It was special.
Can you type it to search it?
Okay.
It was very interesting.
Let me type it.
Okay.
I'm going to type it like this.
Mm. Do you remember how it was spelled? Oops.
I don't know. I forgot. It was up. It was up. This shirt. I want to play something really cool. Yeah, this is really cool. I don't know.
Catalog Avatar Creator. That's an interesting title. Good. Awesome.
It's a movie. And that's a good idea.
You want to play Catalog Avatar Creator?
Yes, 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 yes,
I'd like you to be here with me.
please, you never tried this.
This is my friend we met at the Goodwill.
Who
Okay.
is it? Who is it? Is it?
Okay. Here. Is it? Like that?
I want to change. Do you have any of the poses? Do you have any of the poses? Do you have any of the poses? That... Oh, yes. And the boat. Spin. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yeah. We'll take it out. Wow. friendly. Dead. Dead. Two. Die. Dead.
I'm not sure I understand.
That's something cute. Oh, he's spooky. Spooky. I want to move on his body new. Waste into a circle. Oh, 10%. 100% equals a million. Oh, 100. Oh, I'm gonna give it a star. I'll put it. Oh, yes, you're my favorite too. Oh, yeah, you're my favorite. But, oh, whoa. I don't want to wear you. Like, you're the best. I love you. I love to wear. I want you to go. No. Oh, no. I'm gonna take this. How do I untake this? Shake it. Shake it. It'll get off. They won't shake it and we'll go off. Get off. No. I mean, it's nice. I thought it was a dog. And then, where's my big dog? Dog. And then not the dog got it. Then my starburst. You're my favorite. No. You're my unfavorite frog. I don't like her. I don't like her. Yeah. I don't like her now.
It's awesome. Taking a stand. This is
Hello today, we are playing Roblox. So we are the best and be friends. We are in the yellow submarine. We are living the yellow submarine. Because I wish 100. Okay.
This is a 802.11. This smells like
gives him little cheeks in the heart. You funny.
From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia coordinates, 46 degrees 38 51 N 119 degrees 35 55 W. Nuclear reactors line the riverbank at the Hanford site along the Columbia River in January 1960. The N reactor is in the foreground, with the twin KW reactors in the immediate background. The historic B reactor, the world's first plutonium production reactor, is visible in the distance. The main areas of the Hanford site, as well as the buffer zone that was turned over to the Hanford Reach National Monument in 2000. The Hanford site is a decommissioned nuclear production complex operated by the United States federal government on the Columbia River in Benton County in the U.S. state of Washington. It has also been known as Site W and the Hanford Nuclear Reservation. Established in 1943 as part of the Manhattan Project, the site was home to the Hanford Engineer Works and B reactor, the first full-scale plutonium production reactor in the world. Plutonium manufactured at the site was used in the first atomic bomb, which was tested in the Trinity nuclear test, and in the Fat Man bomb used in the bombing of Nagasaki. During the Cold War, the project expanded to include 9 nuclear reactors and 5 large plutonium processing complexes, which produced plutonium for most of the more than 60,000 weapons built for the U.S. nuclear arsenal. Nuclear technology developed rapidly during this period, and Hanford scientists produced major technological achievements. The town of Richland, established by the Manhattan Project, became self-governing in 1958, and residents were able to purchase their properties. After sufficient plutonium had been produced, the production reactors were shut down between 1964 and 1971. Many early safety procedures and waste disposal practices were inadequate, resulting in the release of significant amounts of radioactive materials into the air and the Columbia River. The Hanford site became the focus of the nation's largest environmental cleanup. A citizen-led Hanford Advisory Board provides recommendations from community stakeholders, including local and state governments, regional environmental organizations, business interests, and Native American tribes. Cleanup activity was still ongoing in 2023, with over 10,000 workers employed on cleanup activity. Hanford hosts a commercial nuclear power plant, the Columbia Generating Station, and various centers for scientific research and development, such as the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, the Fast Flux Test Facility and the LIGO Hanford Observatory. In 2015 it was designated as part of the Manhattan Project National Historical Park. Tourists can visit the site and B reactor. Geography. The Hanford site occupies 586 square miles, 1,518 square kilometers, roughly equivalent to half the total area of Rhode Island, within Benton County, Washington. 1-2, it is a desert environment receiving less than 10 inches, 250 millimeters, of annual precipitation, covered mostly by shrub steppe vegetation. The Columbia River flows along the site for approximately 50 miles, 80 kilometers, forming its northern and eastern boundary. 3. The Columbia and Yakima rivers contain salmon, sturgeon, steelhead trout and bass, and wildlife in the area includes skunks, muskrats, coyotes, raccoons, deer, eagles, hawks and owls. The flora includes sagebrush, bitterbrush, a variety of grasses, prickly pear and willow. 4. The original site was 670 square miles, 1,740 square kilometers, and included buffer areas across the river in Grant and Franklin counties. 5. Some of this land has been returned to private use and is now covered with orchards, vineyards, and irrigated fields. 6. The site is bordered on the southeast by the Tri-Cities, a metropolitan area composed of Richland, Kendrick, Pasco, and smaller communities, and home to nearly 300,000 residents. Hanford is a primary economic base for these cities. 7. In 2000, large portions of the original site were turned over to the Hanford Reach National Monument. 8. The remainder was divided by function into 3 main areas. The nuclear reactors were located along the river in an area designated as the 100 area. The chemical separations complexes were located inland in the Central Plateau, designated as the 200 area, and support facilities were located in the southeast corner of the site, designated as the 300 area. 9. Hanford is the site of Washington State's highest recorded temperature of 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 48.9 degrees Celsius, reached on June 29, 2021. 12. Early history. The confluence of the Yakima, Snake, and Columbia rivers has been a meeting place for native peoples for centuries. The archaeological record of Native American habitation of this area stretches back over 10,000 years. Tribes and nations including the Acama, Nez Perce, and Umatilla used the area for hunting, fishing, and gathering plant foods. 13. Archaeologists have identified numerous Native American sites, including pit house villages, open campsites, fish farming sites, hunting, kill sites, game drive complexes, quarries, and spirit quest sites. 5. And 2 archaeological sites were listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1976. 14. In 1855, Isaac Stevens, the governor of the Territory of Washington, negotiated with the Native American tribes to establish a reservation system. Treaties were signed, but were often ignored, as the reservation system they mandated was not compatible with traditional food gathering or family groupings. In September 1858, a military expedition under Colonel George Wright defeated the Native American tribes in the Battle of Spokane Plains to force compliance with the reservation system. 15. Nonetheless, Native American use of the area continued into the 20th century. The Wampum people were never forced onto a reservation, and they lived along the Columbia River in the Priest Rapids Valley until 1943. 5. After gold was discovered in British Columbia, prospectors explored the Columbia River basin in search of gold, but with little success. Walla Walla, which had been established as a military post in 1858, became a center for mining supplies, and a general store was established at White Bluffs. A ranch was established in the Yakima Valley by Ben Snipes in 1859, and the Northern Pacific Railroad was extended into the area beginning in 1879. The railroad engineers founded the towns of Kendrick and Pasco. Settlers moved into the region, initially along the Columbia River south of Priest Rapids. They established farms and orchards supported by small-scale irrigation projects, but most went bankrupt in the Panic of 1893. The Reclamation Act of 1902 provided for federal government participation in the financing of irrigation projects, and the population began expanding again, with small town centers at Hanford, White Bluffs, and Richland established between 1905 and 1910. The Great Depression of the 1930s decreased the price of agricultural commodities and many farms were foreclosed on or abandoned. The economy was supported by the construction of the Grand Coulee Dam between 1933 and 1942, and the establishment of the Naval Air Station Pasco in 1942. 1617. Manhattan Project. Main article, Hanford Engineer Works. Contractor selection. During World War II, the S-1 section of the Federal Office of Scientific Research and Development, OSRD, sponsored a research project on plutonium. Research was conducted by scientists at the University of Chicago Metallurgical Laboratory. At the time, plutonium was a rare element that had only recently been synthesized in laboratories. It was theorized that plutonium was fissile and could be used in an atomic bomb. The United States government was concerned that Germany was developing a nuclear weapons program. The metallurgical laboratory physicists worked on designing nuclear reactors, piles, that could irradiate uranium and transmute it into plutonium. Meanwhile, chemists investigated ways to separate plutonium from uranium. 18. In September 1942, Brigadier General Leslie R. Groves Jr. became the director of the Manhattan Project, as it came to be known. 19. The project to build industrial-sized plants for the manufacture of plutonium was codenamed the X-10 Project. 20. Groves engaged DuPont, a firm he had worked with in the past on the construction of explosives plants, to design, construct and operate the plutonium manufacturing complex. 21, 22, 23, to avoid being labeled as merchants of death, as the company had been after World War I, DuPont's executive committee insisted that it should receive no payment. For legal reasons, a cost-plus fixed fee contract was agreed, with a fee of $1. The president of DuPont, Walter S. Carpenter Jr., was given assurances that the government was assuming all responsibility for the hazards involved in the project. 24-25. Site selection. Carpenter expressed reservations about building the reactors at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, with Knoxville only 20 miles, 32 kilometers, away. A catastrophic accident might result in loss of life and severe health effects. Even a less deadly accident might disrupt vital war production, particularly of aluminium, and force the evacuation of the Manhattan Project's isotope separation plants. Spreading the facilities at Oak Ridge out more would require the purchase of more land, and the expansion needed was still uncertain. For planning purposes, 6 reactors and 4 chemical separation plants were envisioned. 26. The ideal site was described by 8 criteria. A clean and abundant water supply, at least 25,000 US gallons per minute, 1,600 liters/s. A large electric power supply, about 100,000 kW. A hazardous manufacturing area of at least 12 by 16 miles, 19 by 26 kilometers. Space for laboratory facilities at least 8 miles, 13 kilometers, from the nearest reactor or separations plant. The employees' village no less than 10 miles, 16 kilometers, upwind of the plant. No towns of more than 1,000 people closer than 20 miles, 32 kilometers, from the hazardous rectangle. No main highway, railway, or employee village closer than 10 miles, 16 kilometers, from the hazardous rectangle. Ground that could bear heavy loads. 26. The most important of these criteria was the availability of electric power. The needs of war industries had created power shortages in many parts of the country, and use of the Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, was ruled out because the Clinton Engineer Works was expected to use up all its surplus power. This led to consideration of alternative sites in the Pacific Northwest and Southwest, where there was surplus electrical power. Between December 18th and 31st, 1942, just 12 days after the metallurgical laboratory team led by Enrico Fermi started up Chicago Pile 1, the first nuclear reactor, a 3-man party consisting of Colonel Franklin T. Mathias and DuPont engineers A. E. S. Hall and Gilbert B. Church inspected the most promising potential sites. 27, 28, 29, 30. Mathias reported to Groves that the Hanford site was far more favorable in virtually all respects than any other. 31. The survey party was particularly impressed by the fact that a high-voltage power line from Grand Coulee Dam to Bonneville Dam ran through the site, and there was an electrical substation on its edge. Groves visited the site on January 16, 1943, and approved the selection. 32. The facility became known as the Hanford Engineer Works, Q, and the site was codenamed Site W. 33. Land acquisition. Hanford High School. Before residents were displaced by the creation of the Hanford site. Hanford High School after abandonment. The Secretary of War, Henry L. Stimson, authorized the acquisition of the land on February 8, 1943. 30-34. a Manhattan District Project Office opened in Prosser, Washington, on February 22nd, and the Washington Title Insurance Company opened an office there to furnish title certificates. Federal Judge Louis P. Schwellenbach issued an order of possession under the Second War Powers Act the following day, and the first tract was acquired on March 10. 3435, some 4,218 tracts totaling 428,203.95 acres, 173,287.99 hectares, were to be acquired, 36, making it one of the largest land acquisition projects in American history. 37. Most of the land, some 88%, was sagebrush, where 18 to 20,000 sheep grazed. About 11% was farmland, although not all was under cultivation. Farmers felt that they should be compensated for the value of the crops they had planted as well as for the land itself. 38. Because construction plans had not yet been drawn up, and work on the site could not immediately commence, Groves decided to postpone the taking of the physical possession of properties under cultivation to allow farmers to harvest the crops they had already planted. This reduced the hardship on the farmers, and avoided the wasting of food at a time when the nation was facing food shortages and the federal government was urging citizens to plant victory gardens. 3940. The War Department arranged with Federal Prison Industries for crops to be harvested by prisoners from the McNeil Island Penitentiary. 4142. The harvest in the spring and summer of 1943 was exceptionally good, and high crop prices due to the war greatly increased land values. Litigation was needed to resolve disputes over the compensation due to the sellers. 3940. Discontent over the acquisition was apparent in letters sent from Hanford site residents to the War and Justice Departments, and the Truman Committee began making inquiries. Stimson met with chairman of the committee, Senator Harry S. Truman, who agreed to remove the Hanford site from the committee's investigations on the grounds of national security. Trial juries were sympathetic to the claims of the landowners, and the payments awarded were well in excess of the government appraisals. 43. When the Manhattan Project ended on December 31, 1946, there were still 237 tracts remaining to be settled. 44. About 1,500 residents of Hanford, White Bluffs, and nearby settlements were relocated, as well as the Wampum people, Confederated Tribes and bands of the Yakima Nation, the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, and the Nez Perce Tribe. 45-46, Native Americans were accustomed to fishing in the Columbia River near White Bluffs for 2 or 3 weeks in October. The fish they caught were dried and provided food for the winter. The natives rejected offers of an annual cash payment, and a deal was struck allowing the chief and his 2 assistants to issue passes to fish at the site. His authority was later revoked for security reasons. Matthias gave assurances that Native American graves would be treated with respect, but it would be 15 years before the Wampum people were allowed access to mark the cemeteries.
You want to draw
In
some more?
1997, the elders were permitted to bring children and young adults onto the site once a year to learn about their sacred sites. 47. Construction workforce. DuPont advertised for workers in newspapers for an unspecified war construction project in southeastern Washington, offering an attractive scale of wages and living facilities. 48. Normally for a development in such an isolated area, employees would be accommodated on site, but in this case for security and safety reasons it was desirable to locate them at least 10 miles, 16 kilometers, away. Even the construction workforce could not be housed on site, because some plant operations would have to be carried out during startup testing. The Army and DuPont engineers decided to create 2 communities, a temporary constructions camp and a more substantial operating village. Construction was expedited by locating
nice
them on the
painting.
sites of existing villages to take advantage of the buildings, roads and utility infrastructure already in place. They established the construction camp on the site of the village of Hanford, and the operating village on that of Richland. 49. Hanford workers line up for paychecks. The construction workforce peaked at 45,096 on June 21, 1944. About 13% were women, and non-whites made up 16.45%. African Americans lived in segregated quarters, had their own messes and recreation areas, 51, and were paid less than white workers. 52, 3 types of accommodation were provided at Hanford: barracks, hutments and trailer parking. The first workers to arrive lived in tents while they erected the first barracks. Barracks construction commenced on April 6, 1943, and eventually 195 barracks were erected, 110 for white men, 21 for black men, 57 for white women and 7 for black women. Hutments were prefabricated plywood and Silotex dwellings capable of accommodating 10 to 20 workers each. Between them, the barracks and hutments held 39,050 workers. Many workers had their own trailers, taking their families with them from one wartime construction job to the next. 7 trailer camps were established, and at the peak of construction work 12,008 people were living in them. 53-54. DuPont put the contract for building the village of Richland out to tender, and the contract was awarded to the lowest bidder, G. Albin Pesson, on March 16, 1943. Pesson produced a series of standard house designs based on the Cape Cod and ranch-style house design fashions of the day. 55. Pesson accepted the need for speed and efficiency, but his vision of a model late 20th century community differed from the austere concept of groves. Pesson ultimately had his way on most issues, because DuPont was his contractor, not the Army. 55. The resulting compromise would handicap Richland for many years with inadequate sidewalks, stores and shops, no civic center, and roads that were too narrow. 56. Unlike Oak Ridge and Los Alamos, Richland was not surrounded by a high wire fence. Because it was open, Matthias asked DuPont to ensure that it was kept neat and tidy. 56. Construction. B. Reactor construction, 1944. Construction of the nuclear facilities proceeded rapidly. Before the end of the war in August 1945, he built 554 buildings at Hanford, including 3 nuclear reactors, 105B, 105D, and 105F, and 3 plutonium processing plants, 221T, 221B, and 221 new. 31. The project required 386
What is it, dear?
miles, 621 kilometers of roads.
Okay, we're gonna have to go take a
158
nap.
miles, 254
Okay, it's
kilometers
good time to take a
of
nap.
railway
Okay,
and 4
I'm coming.
electrical
I'm
substations.
almost done.